Play about to commence at the MCG. The elimination final. Loser of today out of the series. The winner to play the Sydney Swans next week. I almost said it as Sean White has first kick of the game. Drives it towards centre half forward, and a great mark taken by Warren Dean.
Dean plays on, he looks for Viney. Todd Viney runs to the boundary line, deep in the forward pocket. He picks it up and fires. What a brilliant shot! It's a goal! Great goal, Todd Viney.
Melbourne could not ask for a better start than that. And firstly, it was Sean White who put the ball forward. A lovely mark by Warren Dean. And then with Viney running down the wing, a magnificent goal by the boy from Sturt. Todd Viney, 21 years of age, only 13 games of AFL football, and on replay you see a great goal.
Yes, it was a great goal, and interesting to see Stephen McCann starting off at centre half back on Warren Dean. I think that just shows how well that Dean has been playing. Well, there's a kick by Bailey out of the centre. Over the back is McCann. A very experienced finals player, Stephen McCann, onto the left foot. He hooks it back. Punched away brilliantly, and this man is in sensational form in recent weeks. I refer to Sean White. A lot of people think he's an Irishman, but he's a boy from Glasgow, Scottish, and did live for a time in Ireland. There's the ball fisted away. Here they come though, Matthew Larkin, North Melbourne towards Jonas, but the ball is thumped away down there by Earl Spalding. Over the line, half-forward flank for the North Melbourne side. As we see the season's marks average, well, not a lot in that. Melbourne 65 a game to North Melbourne's 58.
Stretch takes it away. His teammate Bailey tapped it forward, but John Law, acting captain for North Melbourne, in the way. Hand passes immediately to Ackley. Ackley up towards half forward with a kick. Tapped on by Hepburn, picked up by Newport of Melbourne, in towards the centre, but McCann takes this one. And so Stephen McCann thought about hand passing to Ackley. Elects now to go long towards centre half forward. Hepburn's there. It's punched away by Hughes. Taken by Demetrio. One way, then the other. Off the side of the boot. Phil Cracker, the man!
Well, I think it's going to be a huge task today. This is the man as the key to the North Melbourne forward line, Phil Cracker. Look at him, always in front, eyes on the ball. Safe mark, but Dean Chiron has been given the big task on Phil Cracker, and I really believe he'll have his hands full today. This man is a tremendous footballer, Phil Cracker. A one-grab player. Will miss his brother though, Bob. Jimmy being out of the side.
So will the rest of the players.
I'll say, but it's pretty even because Brian Wilson, who's had a great season for Melbourne, is out also. By the way, Sean Smith has replaced Jimmy Cracker in the North Melbourne side. Phil Cracker right in front, fires, and it's a goal.
Phil Cracker kicks his first goal, scores a level, a 1 goal apiece. Todd Viney kicking the goal for Melbourne. Phil Cracker kicking that one there as we watch on replay. Andrew Demetrio took a little bit too long to get rid of it, but off the side of the boot it went, and getting away from Chiron was Phil Cracker, who was recruited from Claremont and 27 years of age. Phil Cracker has been an excellent player for North Melbourne, along with his brother Jim, who had to drop out of the selected side with a bad ankle injury.
They've got Peter Jonas down alongside Phil Cracker. The two-man forward attack down near the goal square area. One a slow player in Jonas and one a very quick player in Cracker. Now, John Kennedy won't like that. A free kick given away for encroaching into the centre square. That's Stynes down towards half forward. There's Crocker. Couldn't take the mark. Ackley, a very experienced player, David Ackley, out to McCann, playing well early. Further afield it comes to Spargo, and Paul Spargo just gets his boot to the ball, and eventually it rolls over the line on the true centre wing position. Scores dead set level, 1 goal apiece.
Handballs average, as we see John Kennedy and John Dugdale alongside him. Mossop gets the tap down, taken by Clarkson, hooked over the shoulder. Over the boundary line it goes, half forward flank for North Melbourne. 1 goal apiece, 4.5 minutes into the first quarter here at the MCG. Season's hit out at average. Well, John Mossop didn't do so well early in the season, but he has been doing exceptionally well since. Sean White with the tap, it's picked up by Larkin, puts it across the ground. Jonas used his body beautifully, can he tap it on? Traps it forward beautifully, looks for Phil Cracker out wide. Phil Cracker runs onto the left foot, hand pass over the top, back to Jonas. Out it goes to Demetrio. Hook towards goal from Demetrio. Hepburn waiting there, cannot take the mark. Coming away from defence for Melbourne and putting the ball forward is Coop. Up towards half forward, but it's Crocker who takes it for North Melbourne. Darren Crocker favours the drop punt, puts it towards the forward area. Phil Cracker up high, Peter German's there, onto the left foot it goes, across the face of goal. Actually hit the post, I think, at 1 point.
Well, Peter German is a very, very dangerous player. One of those centre line players who can sneak down towards the goals and often kicks 3 or 4 goals in a game. Now, Danny Hughes is playing today on Peter Jonas. Not a lot of pace between those two. There's a good mark to Hepburn. Over to Larkin. Larkin further afield to Clarkson. Oh, gee, he can't do a thing wrong at the moment. That man there in Sean White, he got it further afield to Yates. Fisted away. Doing well down there, Stephen McCann, and puts it over the line. But, geez, an impressive player, Sean White.
Certainly is, and a real goer. John Mossop, 10.7. Stephen O'Dwyer out with suspension at the moment. The man will be missed by Melbourne as a free kick is being paid. It will come back. And Jason Love coming in off the interchange bench and starting on the half-forward flank as Brett Lovett as his opponent. Sean White is picking up the Rovers. Now, that's an unusual placing of Sean White on the Rovers, Pete.
Well, in some ways it's a good move because he has got enormous pace and he'll certainly have the marking ability over them. Oh, look at that. Talking about the marking ability, he is a ripper player, this kid. He'll be in the Victorian side next year, I'd say for certain. Onto the left foot. A wobbly-looking kick.
The boy from Ireland, 23 years of age, Sean White, and he really is carrying all behind.
He's actually from Scotland. He corrected that in the paper during the week. Everyone thinks he's from Ireland, but he's born and bred in Scotland, as we see Spargo towards the centre wing. Graham Yates takes it away. He's had an excellent season too. He goes wide looking for Healy, and it's a good mark to Healy in front of Chandler. And Greg Healy, the little tenacious rover, lines up and kicks long. Can they take a mark? The ball is fisted away by Harris. Todd Viney goes in after it. Over the back, a chance for Johnny Law. A hand pass to Demetrio. He gets in a very quick hand pass. Kicked further afield by Jason Love. Demetrio goes in again and takes it to the line. Good play, Eddie Demetrio.
Shot of the crowd. And a big crowd here today, approximately 75,000 in my opinion. John Law from behind, punches the ball towards the boundary. Darren Steele comes across. Warren Dean takes possession, but not before it had gone over the boundary. Another throw-in to take place. Last year we saw North Melbourne finish 7th, Melbourne finishing 11th. Stynes, Mossop. Stynes got the tap. Stretch couldn't take possession. Andrew Demetrio was there. Couldn't pick the ball up. Over the boundary line once again, a throw-in to take place.
Well, they've had a few minutes now to get over the nerves, the Melbourne players, and I'm sure that they'd have just a touch more nerves than what North Melbourne would have. A lot of those North players have played in a few finals. There's Mossop, take it out of the ruck towards centre wing where the mark has been taken by Lovett. Lovett played an excellent game in the last round when they defeated Footscray at Footscray. The ball's fisted away. Little Ricky Jackson was there. Also John Law. They're going in hard after it. And the umpire will come in. Umpire Ian Clayton, and bounce it as Matthew Larkin. Another key player in today's match is Matthew Larkin, number 9 for North Melbourne.
Umpires Ian Clayton, Ian Robinson. Umpire Robinson, by far the most experienced of the umpires around at the moment, was left that time, and Melbourne go forward. Oh, it must be a push in the back to Graham Yates. Chance of a goal coming up as Yates will kick from about 45 metres out. On replay, we see Crocker coming straight over the top of Yates. So Graham Yates, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Graham Yates and Brett Bailey fought out the best and fairest for Melbourne this year.
They've both had very good seasons, Bob.
Graham Yates, nice looking kick off the boot. He's offline and only 1 point the result. 1-1. Both sides on the same score. Darren Harris kicks the ball to himself. Runs his full distance. Puts it right up towards centre wing. And the mark taken out there by Hepburn.
He's good overhead, Bob.
And he's an excellent kick. Nice kick from Hepburn up towards half forward. Over the back of the pack it comes. Jonas first on the scene. A quick hand pass. Looks out there for German. Carries the ball over the boundary line. Before he can get the hand pass in there, it was picked up by Jason Love, but the boundary line came up first. Last time they met, Alistair Clarkson put the ball through for full points to win for North Melbourne after the siren by 2 points. Chandler puts the ball on. Hand pass forward as we see Demetrio has it taken away by Sharon. Sharon up towards centre wing, and we find Warren Dean taking the mark.
Warren Dean, I think the Eagles might have made a deal with him, letting him get out of their class. There's a beautiful pass from Newport to Viney. Now Yates is making the lead. Viney's got to go back, and the short pass is a ripper too. He finds Ricky Jackson.
Jonas in trouble behind play, Pete. He's hobbling off the ground.
Well, that's bad news. Oh, gee, doesn't look too good either. Donald McDonald will come on. That's bad luck for North Melbourne. There's Ricky Jackson from the 50-metre line. Sets it up for someone to take a big mark. And there it is, Robbie Flower, the idol of the Melbourne members stand. Takes a ripper mark over the top of the pack. Let's look at it in replay. Just superior judgment, Robert Flower. And should kick this one from right in front. Bang! And there it is, a goal to the Demons.
The idol of the Melbourne crowd, Robert Flower, and deservedly so. Robert Flower has played 271 games of football for Melbourne, and today his first final game at the age of 32. Came through from Melbourne fourths, right through the club, and has been an example of loyalty right throughout. Centre bounce. No clear tap from the centre, and a free kick goes the way of John Mossop because Stynes came in and shepherded that player. Hand passes across to Spargo. He puts it on to John Law. Law puts a shocking kick forward. Larkin couldn't pick it up. Kicked off the ground by Healy. Healy, I think, has Chandler as his minder throughout the day. John Law forces the ball forward. Larkin's there as well. Law gets it up to Chandler. Hooked over the shoulder. Melbourne standing firm, and a lovely mark taken down there by Stephen Newport.
Steve Newport last year looked like being a really good player and then had a very ordinary patch of football, but now he's back in tip-top form. There's McCann. Beautifully done by Stephen McCann in defence. Taken away by Chandler towards half-forward. Hepburn. Well done, Spalding. Good use of the body. Earl Spalding caught with it, though. Grabbed by Jason Love. A hand pass to Demetrio. A further hand pass. They're under enormous pressure, North Melbourne, at the moment. Oh, Demetrio went in hard and caught very, very high. And umpire Ian Clayton right on top of that one. Saw that and paid it to Andy Demetrio. Centre of the ground, a short pass. The lead has been made. There were two North Melbourne players, Hepburn and McDonald, got in each other's way. Sean White crashes his way through the pack. Stephen Stretch, a hand pass out wide to Dean Sharon. Oh, that's beautiful team play by Melbourne as it's love it. Bringing it down to half-foot, an easy mark dropped by Darren Harris. It's still in play. Campbell to Williams. David Williams into the open goal, and bang, he's put it through.
David Williams taking full advantage of a lovely piece of football by Tony Campbell, and Melbourne running hot at the moment, but it was a bad miss by David Harris. You saw in replay there as Darren Harris missed that one. It was a sitter actually, and now on replay we see Williams with plenty of time puts the ball right through the centre.
Well, 12 points the difference. A drop mark can be very costly in a final, as it proved then when Darren Harris dropped the sitter. But Melbourne are looking good and determined. Oh, well done. Beautiful football, Stephen McCann, and that's the way to play it at the MCG. A 60-metre kick. McDonald punched away by Hughes. Grabbed by Larkin. A beautiful pass by Larkin. Pinpoint accuracy, and the mark has been taken by Alistair Clarkson right down there in front of goal. Look at that for a pass. Beautiful. Pinpoint accuracy, as I said. Now, Clarkson, only 8 VFL games, from directly in front, stabs at goal. It's close. I think it's just in. No, just offline. A bad miss. And young Clarkson was the hero a few weeks ago when he actually kicked that goal after the siren, which defeated Melbourne on this very ground.
John Kennedy, corner of the screen, having a close look at the situation. Wouldn't be too pleased. The stretch was up high, couldn't take the mark. Mossop tried to force the ball forward. Was tackled too high, according to umpire Robinson. How do you tackle John Mossop too high?
Looked a strange one to me, Bob. I couldn't see it, but he must have seen something. There's the kick. Up towards the forward line. Danny Hughes, the big fist away. But Melbourne looking good in defence, good and strong and tough and determined. They force it to the line and over the line and out of bounds, deep in that forward pocket. 3 goals, 1. Melbourne lead North Melbourne 1 goal, 2 at the 15.5-minute mark, first quarter.
From the throw-in, McDonald up high, puts it down wide, Steele's there, snaps towards goal. That's a great goal by Darren Steele. Excellent play.
Well, that was, as you called it, Bob, a very, very good goal, and he's a very good player too. Darren Steele, a big fist away. Now Steele gets a nice bounce. Picks it up, beg your pardon.
Steele going everywhere with Jackson.
Yeah, well, good
and
thinking.
Chandler going everywhere with Healy.
Well, they're manning up, and that's good to see in football. The players are manning, picking their opponents up and not giving them easy kicks like we saw yesterday out of AFL Park. Well, centre of the ground, there's McCann, who's doing well at centre-half back. And Dean's had a couple of kicks, but, well, I think McCann's playing quite well. Number 16, I'm surprised he lined up at centre-half back. Normally you would think he'd be either full forward or full back. But he's a very versatile player, Stephen McCann. It's right in the centre of the ground. There was about 18 players around that bounce down. Now, the umpire's playing Ian Robinson.
Not a doubt about that one.
Yeah, he was grabbed when he didn't have it. That was German, wide, Spalding and Cracker. Phil Cracker, of course. That's his opponent, though. Dean Sharon crashing his way through the centre of the ground. Darren Harris, this time he doesn't drop the ball. And he is one of the biggest kicks in the league. And on that occasion, it's an absolute shocker. Chandler, young fella, Jeff Chandler, heads for the line. And I think he was quite happy to see that one go over the line. North Melbourne's 1987 record, 1-13, lost 8, tied 1. And one thing about North under John Kennedy, the opposition never get an easy game. They're never out of the contest.
Well, that is the same thing applies to Melbourne in recent times.
Yes, I think I agree with that too, Bob, as the ball is forced over the line. But it's a free kick to Melbourne on centre wing.
So Doug Coop coming into the 18, was selected on the interchange bench, but with Brian Wilson dropping out, he came in off the hands of the pack. Flowers there for Melbourne. Under pressure, taps the ball beautifully across, and the kick goes across the face of goal and through for 1 point. Ricky Jackson putting that through for 1 point. Formerly of Richmond, 20 years of age. Played 13 games of football. Not one of the Melbourne side prior to today has taken part in a VFL finals game. Tackled too high against Todd Viney. Todd Viney may well have played in the finals with Sturt. Stretch puts the ball forward, through for 1 point, kick by Stephen Stretch. I do know that Warren Dean played in finals for Subiaco last year.
Premiership side.
But VFL finals with Brian Wilson having played 1, he dropped out of the selected side, so not a Melbourne player has played, but they haven't played for 23 years in the finals. Playing well at the moment, though, the Demons, as Newport puts the ball forward. And a, well, good effort to take the mark by Ross Smith. Just couldn't quite finish it off over the boundary line and a throw-in to take place.
Well, there's Melbourne's 1987 record, 1-12 and lost 10. Almost even Stevens, but they earned their place. And they beat that great Hawthorn side during the year as well, which was a good effort. There's Greg Healy to Jim Stynes to Dean. Spargo is there, but he misses it and is grabbed by Dean. But in the meantime, it was a free kick against Melbourne to Paul Spargo. He was grabbed when he didn't have the ball, said umpire Ian Robinson. Very experienced umpire and a top umpire, Ian Robinson, well over 300 VFL games. Spargo, stretched from behind. It's a North Melbourne mark to Crocker. It must go to the man in front.
Can't try and mark from behind, Pete.
No, particularly against a guy of Crocker's ability, is a very good overhead mark. Darren Crocker towards half forward. Phil Cracker in the pack. I think they need some marking power up forward. Earl Spalding takes it away.
To stay down as well.
That's right. They all flew with each other as we see McCann. Oh, it's taken away by Viney though, and Viney sprints into goal. Is it another one? No, he's missed a sitter. So a bad miss to Todd Viney.
I think the great goal within 1 minute of the start of play, but that wasn't a good shot at all. 20 minutes have gone in this first term. It's Melbourne 3-4-22, North Melbourne 2-2-14. Nice kick in from full back. Coop first on the scene. Spargo there as well. Spargo wins out. The left foot goes up towards half forward. Sean White. What a dasher this player is proving. The hand pass misses stretch. Ricky Jackson comes in. Can't quite take the ball away. The hand pass came out. Clarkson intercepts, puts the hand pass out wide. It's Ricky Jackson against 4. Lenny coming into Lynn supporters, Dean, and a bounce will take place.
Yes, and good umpiring that by Ian Clayton. He deliberated on that being no free kick, and well done. 8 points the difference. Warren Dean had an excellent season, played a great game against Footscray at the Footscray ground in the last home and away round to help Melbourne get in. Oh, there's a high tackle on Jackson by Darren Harris. Admittedly, it'd be pretty hard to tackle little Ricky around the waist, but oh, that was very high by Harris.
A very crude tackle.
It certainly was. As we see, Jackson will kick from about 48 metres, I would think, when he actually lets fly with this kick at goal. Won't make the distance. Now, can someone take a mark for Melbourne? Let's see, as it's right up there with Chandler. A long hand pass finds Darren Steele. Oh, slow to get rid of it, but just gets his kick in. Hepburn. Oh, gee, has it fisted away when he almost had it. Crocker, very talented player, Crocker, smothered beautifully by Spalding. And to the delight of the Melbourne members stand, Spalding gets a huge ovation.
Well, he might. Earl Spalding, beautiful smother. Mossop gets the ball down, taps it on again. Crocker coming through. So too Chandler, but it runs over the line before Jason Love could pick the ball up. So a throw-in to take place. Centre wing, members' side of the ground. North Melbourne's elimination final record. Stynes gets the big tap, puts it up towards half forward. Dean and McCann both trying to trap the ball, and umpire Clayton comes in to indicate that he'll bounce it. Bounce to take place. Half forward flank for Melbourne, who lead by 8 points at the present moment. Mossop wins the tap. The hand pass comes from Healy, put forward by Yates, tapped over the back by Bailey. Ross Smith first there, punches it forward. It goes over the boundary line. A throw-in to take place about 45 metres out from goal.
Well, there's John Northey, a man who's done a magnificent job this year with Melbourne, and quite achiever, John Northey. Highly respected. Now, beautiful hand pass. Oh, free kick to Healy. Oh, they've paid the advantage to Campbell. Campbell kicks. Oh, hit the post. Actually, Bob, even though the advantage was paid, that didn't really end up an advantage because Healy would have had a set shot for goal.
Except that once you've called the advantage, and the umpire has got to go on with it.
I agree, but actually it works against you sometimes, doesn't it?
Occasionally it does. It's driven back into play, and Mossop takes a fine mark. Kick from Ross Smith. Mossop floats the ball towards centre wing, looking for Hepburn, traps the ball well. A hand pass across to Love. Love's kick smothered off the boot. Graham Yates stumps the ball back. It's taken by Healy. His kick towards half forward. No mark taken. McCann coming forward with Ricky Jackson of Melbourne. Over the line it goes, and a throw-in to take place. Half forward flank for Melbourne, who lead 23-14, 24 minutes into the first term. Mossop and Stynes. Stynes gets the tap. Tapped down that time by Steele. Picked up by Yates. Hooked back towards half forward, and Healy takes the mark. Hand passes to Bailey from 50 metres out. Bailey's kick long and wide, and just goes out of bounds on the full.
Well, some good pressure tactics then on Bailey. Put him under enormous pressure. There's Ackerley. Bringing it wide. Mossop has got the height advantage. Can't take the mark. Oh, kept in play. No, said the boundary umpire. Valiant attempt that by Darren Steele. There he is on screen, Darren. Played one sensational game. Well, plenty of good games, but one up in Sydney against the Sydney Swans when he had about 40-odd possessions, Darren Steele. Everyone voted him best on the ground that day. There he is, trying to get his boot the ball. Hand passes from Stynes to Jackson. Oh, there's a daisy cutter. Oh, what good play that was by Chandler. Somehow got his fist to it and fisted it over the line.
As I said earlier, Chandler going everywhere with Greg Healy, and Steele going on and off the ball with Ricky Jackson. Coop couldn't get the ball forward. The hand pass comes over the top. It's taken by Darren Harris. A long kick up towards centre wing and almost a good mark to Jason Lovey. God, comes out of it beautifully. The hand pass from McDonald taken by Demetrio. Gets through the tackle. Steadies, goes across looking for Phil Cracker and onto the chest of Phil Cracker. Cracker will kick from about 45 metres out. So Phil Cracker virtually directly in front, 45 metres out from goal. The replay showing a beautiful pass, Pete.
Well, a great lead and a top pass. Now, Cracker is a pretty accurate kick normally. There's the drop punt. Oh, that is a lovely kick. That's a goal. That's his second.
2 goals to Phil Cracker, and it's 3 points the margin between the sides. 3-2 to 3-5. On replay, we see Andrew Demetrio take possession of the ball, get around Spalding, steady, puts the pass out in front of Phil Cracker, and right onto the chest of Cracker it went. No mistake about that. Now we see the shot from behind through for full points.
Well, 3 points the difference, and now we're seeing a real contest. That was Hepburn. Still in towards the centre of the ground. Danny Hughes, what's he doing right up there as he gets it across to Coop? Coop with a beautiful pass. Gee, that's beautiful use of the football.
Mossop's gone off the ball. Stynes has gone with Mossop. So Danny Hughes will stay and go into the ruck against Donald McDonald.
Well, this is a real man-on-man stuff today. Both coaches telling their men to just go wherever their opposite number goes. This is Warren Dean, who received that beautiful pass from Coop.
Pretty good kick of the football too.
Or a long kick. There's the kick by Dean. Oh, it's offline though. It's a bad miss again.
Well, I'll apologise to Melbourne. You shouldn't rat them before they kick it.
No, I said something about Darren Harris being one of the longest kicks in the league just a moment ago, and he kicked it 25 metres. But I think the Eagles might have made a mistake with Warren Dean. I think they should have had him in their squad for sure during this year. There is Newport. Now, is it a free kick? Yes, it is, for a trip. So Steve Newport, halfway between half-forward flank and centre wing. 4 points the difference in favour of the Demons. This could be a mark. No. Play on. Bailey, a real goer. Brett Bailey hooks it to the pocket, but the ever-reliable Ross Smith ducks back to take an easy chest mark.
Short pass comes out wide. Darren Crocker doesn't muck around at all. Another short pass, and this time he finds Chandler. So it's Jeff Chandler. Puts the ball out wide towards the wing. Oh, Spalding, a great effort, and it has been paid by umpire Robinson. So Earl Spalding will take the mark. Hand passes immediately, and it's taken by Danny Hughes, who turns around and drives the ball long towards half forward. Flower misses a sitter. Ball picks the ball up, goes short in towards the centre. Hughes coming through again. Good play by Hughes, missed by McDonald. Flower hand passes across. Bailey in trouble, throws the ball away, and is penalised accordingly.
It was a great tackle, that one. And we can see the man on screen, McDonald, towards half-foot. Hepburn and Spalding having a great contest. Nearly a mark to Hepburn, but off they go. Oh, good play by Hughes to Dean Sharon. And as he kicks at goal, the siren sounds to end the first quarter here. A very evenly contested quarter with Melbourne leading 3 goals 6-24 to North Melbourne, 3 goals 2.
Second quarter about to commence at the MCG. 4 points the margin in favour of the Melbourne Football Club. There's Danny Hughes, who is rucking for Melbourne. Mossop, when he goes to full forward, has Jim Stynes going everywhere with him. So Danny Hughes comes in, but Danny Hughes has played a lot of football in the ruck for Melbourne, Pete.
I reckon it's his best position, actually, Bob.
So it's Danny Hughes against Donald McDonald. No clear tap from the centre. Bailey picks the ball up, hooks it towards half forward. Ross Smith got a bad bounce. Ackley came through, showed a lot of courage to try and get in there and tap the ball out. but David Ackley had no chance. Williams in there on top.
I noticed David was trying, he let the umpire know he was trying desperately to punch it out. He was frightened the umpire might pay holding the ball.
Well, that is the new interpretation these days. Hughes wins the tap. Stephen McCann first there. Robert Flower comes in, can't take possession. Darren Harris, a hand pass over the top. It's taken away by German. Up towards centre wing it goes, and it's picked up by Brett Lovett of Melbourne.
Lovett, half forward flank, brings it to the pocket. Harris flies, couldn't take it. Crocker was there, and McDonald also was a scrambly passage of play. Warren Dean and McCann, and Johnny Law comes crashing through, and well, we often see that of John Law, but there's Warren Dean. A big task for him today. He's only lightly framed, and playing a centre forward on Steve McCann. He's had a good year, Warren Dean. The big fist away is by McDonald, and eventually it's forced over the line once again. Paul Spargo on screen and Doug Coop. And it's on half-forward flank for Melbourne. 3-6 plays 3-2. 4 points the difference. Hughes and McDonald. Oh, there's a stretch. Threw the ball away. Races in the goal. And is offline. And they've missed a few sitters, Melbourne.
They've had some golden opportunities. Look at the score. 10 scoring shots to 5.
Well, it's there's Stephen Stretch, the South Australian. Danny Hughes, another South Australian. And great value, those two players for Melbourne. Harris, one of the longest kicks playing the game. Beautiful drop punt out to the half-back line. Hughes went for the punch. Well, McDonald got in the way of his teammate there. Allows Graham Yates to come in with a hand pass to Stretch. And Stephen Stretch from centre wing, a high floater towards the half-forward line. McCann tries to fist it away. But here comes David Williams and kicks from 40 metres. A beautiful drop punt for a goal.
Lovely goal by David Williams. His second. And Melbourne lead by 11 points. 31-20.
Well, as we look in replay, Williams read that beautifully off the pack, and it really was a good kick by David Williams for his second. During this year, he's missed many opportunities, Williams. Not the most reliable kick for goals, particularly from set shots, but he's a very quick leader for the ball and is not a bad full forward.
Centre bounce is tapped down by McDonald. Coming through that time and taking possession as Spargo hooks the ball towards half forward. Spalding almost took a miraculous mark. Love picks the ball up, puts it down towards the forward area, and a good effort by Sean White again. Taps it wide. He's playing a magnificent game down there on the back line, but Matthew Larkin equal to the task. Offloaded White. It was a fantastic effort by Sean White.
Oh, he's a tremendous player, this kid. Born and bred in Glasgow in Scotland, and then lived in Ireland, and well, he is, I predict he'll be a Victorian player for sure next year on that half-back line. Now, Lovett ducks back to take the mark. He's got the running player in Coop to back him up, to Danny Hughes, who loves playing on the ball, Danny Hughes. That'll be 15 metres against Crocker. A professional free kick that by Crocker. There's Hughes with a long kick towards half-forward. Williams, a little shove out. Play on, said the umpire, as Yates has got it. Oh, grabbed when he didn't have it. And Graham Yates will
I would have played it the other way.
Well, it was probably a ticky-touch, well, not ticky-touch, but a fine line between whether Yates had the ball or whether he didn't. I'd like to see that again, that one. We can see Graham Yates at the 50-metre line. He actually did have the ball. Whether the question was, did he throw it away and then was grabbed? Now, there's the pass to Bailey. Bailey will have to kick from approximately 50 metres. Brett Bailey, a real honest goer for the Melbourne side. At the moment, Melbourne lead by 11 points. This would be a handy one. There's the drop punt. It's a nice looking kick. It comes back and it's a goal.
Well, Melbourne doing extremely well at the moment. They're taking the game up to and away from North Melbourne. And Danny Hughes on replay puts the ball long. Out wide it goes, over the back of the pack. Coming through was Robert Flower. It's picked up by Yates. Now, Yates, for mine, didn't hand pass that forward and should have been paid against Yates. "17 points the margin as Donald McDonald gets the tap. It's put forward there by Healy. Coming through was Ackley. Ackley pushed in the back. Full play on. Flower comes out with the ball. Tackle, got the hand pass into Hughes, who floats it up towards the forward area. Melbourne in the van. It's a mark for mine. And it was a good mark taken down there by Tony Campbell. Campbell did extremely well to take that mark. On replay, judge it to perfection. And the boy from Camberwell Grammar has the opportunity of putting Melbourne 23 points in front. The kick from Campbell is just that, 23 points to lead.
Well, what a handy lead that is at this stage of the game. But don't write off North Melbourne. We've seen North many times over the last 3 or 4 years as we see Campbell, a nice mark playing in front. Yes, a definite mark, and the umpire, Ian Clayton, made the right decision. Campbell being picked up by Harris, but the Melbourne supporters are really roaring already, but I would not be roaring too early. North have got a great habit of fighting back.
I think North made a big mistake taking Mossop off the ball.
Yes, I agree with you, Bob, as we see it at half forward. You watch, they'll come back. They always do, North Melbourne, as we see a hurry kick by Love towards Hepburn, but they need a little bit more striking power up forward. They've now got McDonald up at full forward. Phil Cracker's still up there in the pocket. John Northey never shows a lot of emotion, John, but a very good thinking coach, John Northey. There's Stynes doing the ruck work against Mossabo. Here they come again. Ricky Jackson to Spalding. Spalding burst out of the centre. A wobbly kick though. It's marked by Warren Dean. Dean onto the left foot, fires a goal. What a ripper goal that was.
Lovely goal by Warren Dean. Really used the football beautifully. 29 points to lead to the Demons as Spalding burst down the ground. Ricky Jackson gives the hand pass across to Spalding on replay. We see the kick come out in front of Dean. He plays on immediately and the left foot kick. And we spoke earlier what a great disposal expert he is, and that was no exception.
I don't like the lineup of the North Melbourne side, Bob. I don't like McCann at centre back. I don't think that's his position, and well, I think they might make a few moves shortly. But Melbourne are playing well. There's Dean, taken away by Larkin, who hasn't had a lot to do with the game so far. Demetrio. Now, where are their forwards? Their forward line is not existent at the moment. North Melbourne. Hughes, uncontested, takes that mark. He kicks it out wide to Bailey, and here come the Demons again. Brett Bailey onto the left foot, brings it to half forward. Williams from behind couldn't take the mark. Chandler is there, and Greg Healy. Well done, young Chandler. They dive in after it. Bailey's there on the base of the pack. Sean Smith's there also, number 32, took Jimmy Cracker's place. Now it's Williams, a hurry kick out looking for Stynes, and he, the big Irishman's got it. Caught, nearly holding the ball, gets his boot to it. McCann ducks back, and that's a good contest going on at centre half back. McCann and Dean. Now they've got the loose man in Larkin. This is when North are dangerous, when Larkin gets control. Now he kicks it low towards half forward. Over the back is Phil Cracker. Here's the danger man. Beautiful pass by Cracker. Every time he gets it, he does something constructive, Bob.
He certainly does, and he might not have brother Jim out there, but watch again on replay. There's a nice little right foot pass straight onto the chest of Donald McDonald, who will be kicking from 40 metres out. Very deliberate look from Donald McDonald. 105 VFL games, 25 years of age, recruited from St Brendan's. So the Catholic boy lining them up.
You love the Catholics, don't you?
Donald McDonald puts the ball towards goal. Across the face it goes, and it's through for only 1 point.
Yeah, bad kick by Donald McDonald, but he is not the greatest kick for goal. But North are only 4 goals, 4 behind. And as I said earlier, I've seen too many games of North Melbourne playing to write them off. They are a real team of goers. There's Larkin. They need him firing. Sean White. Oh, that is a brilliant mark by Sean White. And he hurt Paul Spargo then. But they're not contesting enough up there on the forward line, North Melbourne. They're letting Melbourne do it far too easily. There's the pass out wide, finding Dean, who covers an enormous amount of territory. Dean. Chandler takes front position, fisted away, but it goes straight there to Jackson. Jackson, a short pass. Oh, some courage shown then, but Melbourne still with a chance. Viney, Hepburn, Ackerley, Ackley gets it out to Johnny Law. A beautiful hand pass to Steele to Demetrio. Back it comes to Steele, and that was terrific football. Not a good kick by Steele because the lead had been made by Spargo, and it missed him by a mile. Warren Dean, great skills. Gets dragged by the leg. The umpire lets that go. Oh, the Melbourne members don't like that. Chandler towards half forward, and I bet you it's forced over the line, but he was linked then, I think, Bob.
I think he was beat. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And so do those fans. They also think so.
Well, we saw 12 premierships, but they haven't had one since 1964.
McCann thumps the ball back, taken by White, dispossessed. Sean Smith picks the ball up, can't get the ball clear. Doug Coope, was he pushing the back? Yes, according to umpire Robinson. And this time the Melbourne umpires, he's allowed to play on. Bad defensive work by Hepburn. And so Ackley's there, takes the ball away from Flower, hooks it over the shoulder. McCann gets the favourable bounce. Hand passes wide to Steele. Dummies beautifully. Straightens up and drives towards the half-forward line. Love couldn't take the mark. Brett Lovett's there with him. No one can get full possession. Tackle too high. Should easily have been a North Melbourne free kick for mine, Pete.
Ian Robinson completely out of position for that one, Bob, and that's why he missed it. He was on the wrong side of the pack, and, well, you can't be in the right position all day, so it was a pure case of not seeing that one. As we see Hepburn down to the ground. Oh, Spargo has it smothered. Good play by Bailey. Beautiful football across the stretch, and Stephen Stretch races down the ground. He kicks long. Was he flattened after he kicked it? No, said the umpire. It's fisted to the ground. Good defensive play by North Melbourne as the hand pass comes out to Steele. That was good play by Ross Smith. Darren Steele, a pass. Oh, it sets up his teammate there. Oh, gee, it was a bad pass. Newport on the left foot. A high one. Johnny Mossop floats back. And also in there is Campbell for Melbourne, grabbed by Mossop, but he hooks it back and straight in the hands of the waiting Greg Healy.
So Healy will be kicking from 55 metres out. The Melbourne vice-captain is on replay. We see Mossop hook the ball straight into the arms of Healy. The short pass came across to Stynes. A bit of looseness. 21 to 49. 28 points the margin in favour of Melbourne. And the last time we saw Melbourne play Pete, Jim Stynes kicked about 4 great goals.
And they were top goals. He kicked them from everywhere. Jimmy Stynes, the big Irishman.
So Stynes goes towards goal, but he's hooked it, and 1 point the result.
Yes, and Melbourne really could be further in front. The number of shots they've had, 15 to 6. So they're very, very dominant at the moment. They're 31 points in front. Darren Harris is a beautiful kick of a football to McCann, who I must admit is
You
playing.
are a skilled teacher, aren't you?
What's that got to do with it?
21 from 50.
Sorry, what did I say? 31, did I? Well, it's 29, as we see the kick from McCann, who is playing well, but so is Dean. Now, did he play on? I think he did, Sean Smith. And, well, he gets his boot the ball. Oh, gee, they're fumbling North Melbourne. They are not playing good football at the moment. They're playing very poor football. As we see Greg Healy, lovely pass, finds Viney from centre winger, absolute shocker, and kicks it straight out of bounds. Half-forward flank for Melbourne. Clarkson is warming up on the boundary line for North. I wonder who's going to come off. It's on that half-forward line, 29 points the difference. And we see Mossop straight to Lord, but they're under enormous pressure, North Melbourne. They need someone to really start firing up forward. There's McDonald to Demetrio, a good tackle, but German's there, he's caught, gets his boot to it, but here come the demons. Doug Coope caught, holding the ball. Great tackle, that was a top tackle for North Melbourne. Now, who was that? It was John Law. Well, that's not surprising, Bob.
No, the boy from Strathbogie, great courage. Sharon got the tap out wide. North Melbourne in the van. As we see it, hand pass forward from Crocker. Phil Cracker, a long hand pass over the top to Hepburn. Right through the centre, up into the stand it goes. A great goal.
Well, once again, well, actually, it was not a good tackle that by Sean White on Phil Cracker. I thought he had him cornered. You watch this as we see Crocker with the long hand pass. Now, what's this? He just broke that tackle magnificently, Phil Cracker, and look at that. They've kicked 4 of the North Melbourne's goals. In fact, they've only kicked 4, and Phil Cracker's had a hand in the 4.
Not a doubt about that. Mark Hepburn. Danny Hughes and Mark Hepburn. Hepburn now at full forward. Donald McDonald out at centre half forward. Looked like young Chandler on the interchange bench. 27-50. 23 points the margin. Larkin picks the ball up, dribbles it forward. An awkward bounce, well taken by Sharon, who drives it up towards the half-forward line. McCann comes out, can't take the mark. It's picked up by Mossop. Hand passed out wide. Ackley comes through. Gets boot to ball across the ground. And a lovely effort to take the mark by Newport. Thumped on that time by Clarkson. It's now Coop and Spargo. Into the back of Coop goes Spargo. And the free kick will be taken by the former North Melbourne and Swans player in Doug Coop, who now represents the Melbourne Football Club. Coop goes short. Not a well-placed kick, with great courage shown by Brett Lovett to take the mark.
I'll say it was. He could have really been unloaded there as he kicks to half forward. Oh, big fly was from behind, but there's little Ricky Jackson. Oh, brilliant play by the little fella. Into the open goal he goes. What a great goal that was. Well, there he is, striding back to the centre. 8-8 plays 4-3. 4 goals, 5 the difference, but that was a terrific goal as we see Lovett kick it down. What's this one as they all fly? Again, too many North players flying. Jackson with great pace. Dummies the hand pass, then fires at goal. Great goal.
Excellent goal by Ricky Jackson. 27-56 in favour of Melbourne. Recruited by the Demons from the Richmond Football Club. Ricky Jackson, 20 years of age. Stynes. Ricky Spargo. Desperate play by both sides, causing a little bit of confusion out there, and not real good-looking football, but it's desperate football at the moment. Almost in the centre circle again. Mossop taken by Love, but straight to Melbourne once again. Lovett plays on. Called play on by the umpire, and Lovett is penalised accordingly. Sean Smith with possession of the ball. Puts it out wide, looking for Spargo. Not a well-placed kick, though, and Gene Saron takes an easy mark.
Well, the North Melbourne forward line is absolutely pathetic at the moment, Bob.
I can only agree with you as it's hooked back towards the centre by Healy, taken by Yates. Yates steadies, puts it out on towards the wing. Robbie Flower out there in front there of Ackley. Gets a bounce, an awkward bounce for Flower. Into the back of Ackley was Flower. Ackley should have got the free kick, but it matters not. He got the hand pass out to Law. Law lost possession, regained it, drives it towards half forward. Great effort that time by Clarkson. It's picked up by Larkin, who drives the ball long. It wasn't Larkin, it was Sean Smith up towards a player in Larkin now. Larkin can't get boot to ball. A great tackle by Melbourne, and we find Brett Bailey bringing the ball away. Up towards centre wing, stretch up and down before acceptances. Comes out towards Williams. Williams on centre wing. He's got a player in short in Newport. Hand passes instead to Stretch. Stretch steadies, puts a high floating kick in the air. An awkward one for anybody to mark. Nobody can as Mossop punches it away. Tapped on again. Dean's first there for Melbourne. Did he cop one too high? No, according to the umpire. The loose ball comes back towards Viney. Viney comes out, taken by Steele. The long hand pass finds Clarkson. Clarkson onto the left foot. Floats the ball into the centre. Lovett takes it from Melbourne and drives the ball back.
Oh, what a great pass that was to Warren Dean. Tremendous play by Lovett. And North Melbourne's use of the ball is abysmal at the moment. And once again, that has cost them dearly. That hurried kick from Clarkson went straight into the hands of Lovett. Lovett with a beautiful 45-metre directed kick to Warren Dean. A strange way he holds the drop punt. But he does kick the ball an absolute mile. Offline for though he is, Warren Dean. A bad miss. He's missed a couple of sitters. He does hold that drop punt. He holds it right underneath the end of the football, which is a strange way of holding a ball.
10 more scoring shots the Demons have had. They lead by 30 points at the moment, 57-27. As Stretch brings the ball down, goes after it again, gathers it well. A beautiful pass from Stephen Stretch, straight into the arms of Tony Campbell. A short pass across the ground, and Stynes takes the mark. They're doing well, Pete.
Oh, they're playing great football, Melbourne, and North are playing poorly. It's a little bit of both, but Well, I hate to say it, but North are missing that drive of Jimmy Cracker. I think around the packs with his great pace and guts, and their little men aren't doing well, North Melbourne. They're not feeding off the packs, and too many North Melbourne players are flying against one another, and Melbourne are capitalising brilliantly on every mistake they make. There's the kick of Stynes, and it's a goal.
An excellent goal by Jim Stynes. He dropped down the ground. On replay, we see the pass coming there from Stephen Stretch to Tony Campbell. Campbell looks across the ground, sees Stynes coming down, and on replay now, the mark by Jim Stynes. 63-27. Melbourne fans delighted at the moment with the performance of their team, as well they might be. German comes out of the centre, well trapped by Matthew Larkin, hooked over the shoulder, down towards the forward area, punched away by Danny Hughes, tapped on there by Healy, taking it away as Spalding. The hand pass over the top to Newport. Newport towards half forward with a well-placed kick. At the back was Williams, couldn't quite take it, but recovers well. Ross Smith puts the ball forward to Steele. Steele gets a short kick onto McCann. McCann in trouble, got the hand pass in, smothered over the boundary line. Melbourne doing brilliantly at the moment. A great performance by the Melbourne side.
Yes, doing well. 36, and Steve McCann, he's been probably North Melbourne's best player, Steve McCann, and he's battling his heart out there at centre-half back. There's David Williams, a hurry kick to Flower, and Robbie Flower marks, off he goes, the Melbourne champ. Kicks wide, a big chance for Campbell. He misread that one. Harris is there, and Graham Yates. Campbell's got it. He runs to 30 metres from goal. He hooks it back, but not far enough. And he puts it through for yet another behind. But Melbourne are very, very dominant at the moment. Look at that, 19 scoring shots to 7. That just shows how well they have controlled this game. Darren Harris is a great kick, as I said earlier. Look at that long kick. Mossop. Down to the ground it goes. Crocker. Now there's no movement at all on that Melbourne forward line. Crocker had no one to give it to. Now he has to go wide to McDonald, who's been fumbling all day since coming on the ground. Now the umpire will come in and bounce it, but gee, that forward line is pathetic, Bob.
And it's not the greatest. If it wasn't for Phil Cracker, they'd be nowhere.
Well, he's touched it 4 times and it's resulted in 4 goals.
Just over 23 minutes into the second quarter. Melbourne dominant at the moment as Darren Steele puts the ball forward for North Melbourne. Sean White tried to pick the ball up, almost lost his head. White gets the hand pass across, steadying and taking his time now towards goal as Jason Love won't make enough distance. Hepburn was up high. Can he get boot the ball? No, he cannot, and he is penalised. Well, I thought I would have bounced that one, I think, Pete.
I think most umpires would have bounced that. He's a pretty sudden death umpire. He's a good umpire, though. Clayton and Robinson, very experienced umpires. They've got to do something about that forward line, though, North Melbourne. Stynes, very mobile. Ruckman Stynes. He and O'Dwyer are great improvers. They've been coached this year by Don Scott, the former Hawthorn champion ruckman. It's made a big difference to the rucks at the Melbourne Football Club. There's Phil Cracker.
Must be a better coach than he was a player.
Well, here it is, back in the centre of the ground. And is that a free kick? They're paying the advantage, I think, to Melbourne. They are, as we see Newport to Williams. McCann is playing a great game. Onto the left foot goes McCann. Out wide, Peter German's had a quiet day. He's got it, though, this time. Now, a wobbly kick to finds John Law. Oh, gee, Sean Smith's hurt. He's coming off the ground for North Melbourne. So they're going to be down to 18 players, North Melbourne, shortly. Hepburn flies. He loses it. Phil Cracker. Lovely hand pass. Finds Clarkson. He ducks back. Over to Cracker. Now let's see what Phil can do. Another short pass. They're going all over the place, North Melbourne. He finds Crocker coming on as Chandler. That's bad luck. He doesn't look too good, Sean Smith. So there's 2 players off the ground, Peter Jonas and Sean Smith, and by the look of them, they may not come back on.
There's Darren Crocker. Just back after injury. Runs a bit close to the man on the mark. Doesn't cover a lot of kick with his boot to that ball. An awkward bounce. It was well taken by Clarkson, but his kick for goal is offline, and a 1 point the result. Alistair Clarkson kicks 1 point and takes North Melbourne to 4-4, while Melbourne are on 9-10 and doing it well. Sean Smith doesn't look too well at the moment. Melbourne might be doing it well, but Sean Smith doesn't look well. Lovely kick from Danny Hughes, punched away by Crocker. First on the scene is Spalding of Melbourne. The hand pass accepted by Newport. Newport towards half forward. A well-placed kick finds Warren Dean. Dean will be kicking from 55 metres out.
He'll kick this.
Lovely kick as far as length is concerned. He kicked it all right, but it's through for 1 point.
He is a long kick of a football, but he's got that tendency. The way he holds the football is the reason he hooks a lot of his kicks and hooks them through for points on the left-hand side. But you can see how dominant they are, Melbourne. This is an impressive performance. 9-11 to 4-4. Crocker, he's been one of North's better players. They've had a touch of the fumbles, but that's due to a lot of the pressure that's been put on. Demetrio gets it out to Love. Love to Mossop, and Mossop from centre wing kicks it high. Cracker against Sharon, punched away by Sharon to Hepburn. Now who's up there in the goal square? Cracker leads in the race for the ball. Let's see what the magic of Phil Cracker can do. Oh, look at that. He still goes in after it. He's got it. Oh, he loses it. Actually threw that one away. All thrown away by Danny Hughes. Spalding was in there, or was it Sean White?